This is Jordan Lally with the Ed Lally Foundation and the acoustic rock band Big Infinite, inviting you to a very special live music event at the Havre de Grace Opera House on May 23rd. We will be hosting not only a concert, but an experience of togetherness and connection for everyone in attendance. And all proceeds from this event go to benefit the Ed Lally Foundation's mental health and suicide prevention outreach. We would love for you to join us. For more details or to purchase tickets, visit edlallyfoundation.org or head over to the Havre de Grace Opera House website.
Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch or fast pitch?
I never play softball. It's probably the least sexy part of organizing. That's okay. No. The truth is.
Welcome to Conversations with Rich Bennett. Today, I'm excited to introduce Tracy Beavers, a visibility and list growth strategist who's passionate about empowering entrepreneurs to grow their businesses organically. A proud corporate America dropout. I love that phrase. Tracy successfully transitioned from a demanding corporate career where she increased company market share by 86% into entrepreneurship. Now she helps clients from startups to million-dollar brands build visibility, confidence, and consistent monthly income. She's also a nationally recognized speaker, published author, and host of the podcast, Create Online Business Success. So, Tracy, first of all, I have to say thank you because I thought I was the only dropout.
Oh, no.
You make me feel so proud.
Oh, good. We're in the club. It may just be the two of us in the club, but at least you're not alone anymore.
Oh, well, no, I was a high school dropout. Well, no, technically, I guess you could say corporate America too, because I've worked for corporate America in the IT field.
Yeah.
And we went through those mergers, and you know what happens with mergers.
Oh, yeah.
And finally, I had enough of it and got out of it and went on my own.
Yeah.
And started my own business, which was a lot better. So,
yeah.
How did you get into corporate America? Was that, what was it you wanted to do when, you know how in high school, you always got to have your career path. What was it you wanted to do when you finished school? That's
a great question. Nobody's ever asked me that actually, but
really?
I think it's a generational thing. I was raised in I'll be 55 this month. I was raised in the generation where you go to high school, you graduate, you go to college, you graduate, you get a job, any job. You're excited about the job, even if you're not. And then you are supposed to stay in the job for about 40 years. And then you get a gold watch, a cake, a pension, and a retirement party. That is what I thought. And around 2005 is when things started to shift in the corporate world, where corporations started doing layoffs, downsizing, right-sizing, giving severance packages. And I was over here going, what the heck is going on? Nobody told me. And I think I even called my mom, and I was like, you didn't tell me this was going to happen. And she was like, nobody thought it was going to happen. And so that was my first taste of the fact that corporate is not as stable as as it had been in the past. Right. And so that made me think, oh my gosh, this is not a guaranteed thing. I might not get the gold watch, the cake, and the pension. You know what I mean? And so fast forward through changing it. So at that time I was working for an insurance company, and then fast forward, my sales career started in banking. So I was in banking and in the real estate arena, title insurance, doing sales, marketing, business development. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoyed it. And if you had told me that I was not going to stay in corporate, I would have told you you were crazy, because the alternative is to work for myself. And my dad, bless his heart, he was an architect and he worked for himself. He was self-employed, and he made it look really awful. Like it was a grind. But I also recognize now that he was a workaholic.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just looked like there was no stability. It just did not look good. And so I really was like, what is happening? So fast forward through a few toxic bosses, some job descriptions that did not match me. Mm-hmm. And the final straw was that title insurance company that I was working for, the CEO, I had grown his market share 86% the first year I was there. And I was on track to grow it another, 38-ish% or whatever. And he actually had the nerve to say, I really didn't think you were going to be that successful, and we need to change the commission structure.
What?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Basically, he said, basically in a nutshell, he felt like he was paying me too much money. And so he didn't understand that I had a contracts background. He didn't know that about me. I said, okay, well, let me see the new contract. And I looked at it, and the language in this thing was so ambiguous that there was no foothold for me, and there wasn't going to be. And I was like, oh my stars. I thought being in sales, I had control over my money and how much money I could make. I knew I never had control over my time in corporate, because it's 8 to 5, 1 hour lunch, so much PTO, vacation, whatever. But the money thing, this was a shock. And I was like, okay. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. And then I thought, well, what the hell am I going to do? Because I can't go work for myself. That didn't look very good. So I was in a women's mastermind, and thankfully, what they say about God's timing, I was in this women's mastermind and explaining what was going on. And they were like, you need to be a business and you need to be a coach. Uh-huh. And I was like, I'm in Arkansas. We're slow on the trend. I was like, I don't know what y'all are talking about. I mean, I'm not kidding, Rich. We are the last ones to have everything. Okay. And so I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And they said, you've always been a coach. You just can't see it because it's in you. It's part of you. And I was like, okay. And I looked back, and they are right. People were always coming to me for advice on personal stuff, on professional stuff. And the most thing that does not sound right, grammatically correct. The most thing they were coming to me for, I swear I'm a highly intelligent woman. I went to college. But the most thing let me just say it again. They were coming to me a lot for sales and marketing. Right. How is sales so, because I thought, also these women helped me see, sales has always been easy for me. It's like breathing. It's no big deal. And they were like, you need to be a sales coach. I'm like, sales is easy. Nobody's going to hire me for that. And they were like, oh no, you are so wrong.
Oh yeah, they will. And
yeah, they did. Yeah. And they have. And here I am. So, then what I did though is, if I had gone to my husband and said, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to quit my really lucrative 6-figure job and I'm going to go make no money and hope that somebody hires me. What do you think? He would have been like, I'm going to take your temperature and we're going to the doctor because there is something wrong with you. And so I couldn't just quit. And also we had these kids, we still have these kids, but we had these kids that were in high school and middle school, played every sport that had a ball. So we had cars, prom, all the things. So what I had to do was hatch a plan. So I hatched a plan to fully exit corporate, but it took me about 1.5 years because I was making an over 6-figure year salary. But as my coaching and business and sales coaching started to grow, I was able to do what I call a step down plan. Yeah. I stepped down to a lesser role, and that's growing. And then the final thing was the title insurance company that I was doing business development for closed because we lost our VCs and our funding.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, oh, here we go. And I said to my husband, I really want to see if I can do this. And he's so funny. He's my biggest cheerleader, but he goes, well, okay, that sounds good. Let's see where you are in about 6 months. And I was like, okay. And in my mind, I was like, oh, it's game on, brother. Okay, we'll see where I am in 6 months. He's being real sweet about it and also scared about it. But then I'm over here going, oh, yeah, I'm going to prove you wrong. So anyway, so here I am. 6-ish years, 5-ish years later. I can't remember because the pandemic is blurry, but.
Now, you said something about Arkansas being slow, but at the same time, you mentioned how you were part of this women's mastermind group.
Which was a new thing at the time here.
But amazingly, there are still a lot of places that don't even know what a mastermind group is.
Yeah.
Which blows me away.
Yeah.
And some people, you mentioned that too, they think, oh yeah, another networking group.
Yeah, no.
No. Big difference.
Right.
Big difference. Okay, so 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you before you started seeing that it was working? Once you left full time from the corporate America.
Well, I did not replace my 6 figures until my second full year doing this.
Second full year.
Full year. But it started working from the beginning because I used my local network, my warm market of people that knew my track record in sales, the same people who were coming to me asking for advice. And I basically said, I'm starting this. These are my hourly rates. I can help you close more deals. I can help, like some of the real estate agents that knew me really well. They hired me to help them set up their brokerages and get their teams running efficiently. And so it was kind of business coaching mixed with sales coaching. And I just got started. And I knew once I got started and I loved it and I had proof of concept that I could scale it. And then I discovered the online space with online courses and group coaching programs and things like that. And so I morphed away from the local market, working in person. And now my audience is global, completely online. And Rich, it's so funny. I have family members that still do not understand what I do. Like I literally was having this conversation with one of my family members the other day. He goes, could you explain to me again exactly what you do? And I was just in my mind, I was like, he's never going to get it because it's so different from what they're used to being W-2 employees and, working in person, and networking is in person. It's belly to belly. It's coffee chats. It's, and I was just like, I tried really hard, but I don't know if I did a very good job. So we'll see. We'll find out at Christmas. We'll find out at Christmas when he asks me again.
That's very good though in 2 years, because I think average is what, like 3 years.
Well, most businesses do not turn a profit, whether they are in person, boutique, online, whatever. Most businesses do not turn a profit before 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
And so I was profitable from the beginning because I bootstrapped the heck out of it.
Yeah.
And I also parked a lot of my business money so that when the corporate job ended, I had a really nice nest egg built up in my business bank accounts. I needed it. I knew that if I quit, I was going to have the stress of paying the bills that I had for our house hanging over my head, and it was going to derail me. And I'd just go right back to corporate.
And I bet that stress level went down a lot.
It did. And it's been really fun to look back at my profit and loss statements from when I started to now. And when I'm having a crap day and I'm like, nobody's ever going to hire me again. Nobody's going to sign up for my program. I can't coach my way out of a paper sack. I go back and I look at those profit and loss statements and I'm like, oh no, Tracy Beavers, you're telling yourself a crap story. Look here. The evidence is right here that you can do this and you are doing this.
Now, does your husband want you to hire him?
No, my husband is, first of all, my husband is one of the nicest people you'll ever meet in your entire life. Guaranteed. I mean, if you think I'm nice, you meet him and you're like, oh, he is the nicest person I've ever met. And so, no, he is a very proud W-2 company man all the way. He's worked for the company he works for over 20 years. Right. And the entrepreneurial thing, not his jam at all.
All right. So I have to ask you this.
But my son works for me.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he's my podcast manager.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Now, How'd you convince your son into doing that? Maybe I can convince my daughter into doing that.
So I got really lucky. Our kids are amazing. Emily is 26. She just turned 26. She's a police officer here in our city.
Oh, tell her I said thank you for her service.
I will do that. And thank you for your service. I see your hat with the Marines on it. And so she's doing really well, but she also understands possibility outside of a W-2 job because of what she's watched me do. Right. And then Jack, our son, is 21. He's a junior at St. Louis University and he's studying marketing and entrepreneurship. And when I decided to do the podcast, I said, hey, I need a podcast manager. Plus, we're kind of paying for his school and his cell phone bill. And he was looking for ways to make extra money. And so I was like, if you're good at this, I could potentially get you some more clients where you could make some money and not have to work at the campus bookstore. So, and then when he learned Descript in like 15 minutes, which was really annoying because it had taken me 3 weeks to learn it. But yeah, so it's fun. I record it. I send him the pieces. He stitches them together, throws them into Buzzsprout, and off we go.
So has he started his own business now doing that?
Not officially, but but the opportunity is there. Right. He has a corporate internship this summer that he's really excited about. But the cool thing is, though, unlike me, I couldn't see that there was anything else but corporate.
Yeah.
But he and Emily can see that there's possibilities outside. Like the world is open.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To them. And so if he wanted to do that, he totally could.
Okay. 2 questions for you. Well, the first one, you're going to laugh at this, but your husband and your kids, especially your son, how does he feel about working for, I got to try to phrase this properly. How does he feel about working for, and how does your husband feel about being married to a jailbird?
I know. I think they're fine with it. The funny part is Jack. So John is my second husband. So my last name is Beavers. Jack's last name is, I'm not going to say it because I, don't want to, I'll leave his anonymity. Anyway, everybody knows my name, but his last name is different. And so so funny. He was writing up his resume. And he goes, Mom, I can put down that I work for Tracy Beavers Coaching and they're never going to know you're my mom. And I was like, that's so awesome. When they call me for a referral, I'm going to be like, Jack is the smartest boy I have ever met in my entire life. So anyway.
You didn't see where I was going there though, did you?
I think I did. Are you talking about the Facebook jail thing?
The Facebook jail, yes.
Yeah.
I heard that on your episode. I'm like, oh my God, this is just too hilarious.
I know, it is funny. My husband knows that I'm regularly in Facebook jail. It does not surprise him.
Regularly?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit of a rule breaker. I'll follow the rules unless the rules are stupid.
Well, yeah, that makes, yeah.
And when here's the thing. When I end up in Facebook jail, because I am trying to DM somebody that wanted to join my free Facebook group and wants to connect with me because they want to join my free group, that's dumb. When I can't send them a DM, that's dumb.
It's very stupid.
Not spamming people that I don't know. I'm not sending Rich a friend request and then going, hey, do you need to hire a business coach? No, I'm trying to connect with these people that want to connect with me. But I happen to have hundreds of people every month and lots of people to DM every day because that's part of the way I do business. That's why I've been so successful in sales for so many years, is because I build relationships and I make connections.
Is smart.
And the DMs is where I do that. And I'm over here going, what in the Zuckerberg? So I got myself into, and the other thing is I use a CRM system called Group Track.
Yes.
Which is, have you heard of Group Track?
I'd never heard of it until I listened to your podcast.
Yeah. It's amazing. And it's one of the only CRM systems that integrates so there's some out there that integrate with Facebook and Instagram and Facebook groups and all that. This is the only one that sends bulk messages in the DMs. Okay. So for example, I had, if I want to DM the people in my group and say, hey, I'm going live on Thursday at 11:30. This is the topic. Would you like to get a 30-minute warning and come join me? or what questions do you have for me and I'll answer them for you, or something like that. And I want to send that to a lot of people in my group. I can just dial that in and write several different versions of it. And the way the CRM system works is it pulls one greeting, one body, one closing, and it mixes them up. And then it sends it in the DMs for me so I can go do something else.
Right.
And so, but my fault was this is where it went off the rails. So I was kind of new to using that feature, and the group track people told me this. They said, if you're new to bulk messaging, don't go, blazing in there, sending 100 messages a day. You might get
right.
Facebook.
And you don't want to be like spam email.
So what did I do? I dialed it up to 100 because I thought, just send all these DMs. It'll be fine. And the next thing I knew, it was like nothing was sending. So I had to, but it actually turned out to be something really funny, as you know, from the episode you listened to, because I emailed my list and told them I was in Facebook jail and could they send me a DM? And if they wanted to say, hey, jailbird, that'd be fine. And do you know how many DMs I got that said, hey, jailbird?
Oh, I'm sure. And
it turned a really frustrating situation into something that was funny and a lot of fun. And people, my subscribers, I've never gotten so many replies in my entire life. I even had one girl say to me in the DM, Brittany, she was so cute. She goes, did you do this on purpose as a strategy to get people to DM you? And I was like, no, but that's kind of fun. Maybe I should.
Well, and it makes me think because, and you're right, I've gotten warnings for DMing too many people at one time, even liking too many pages at one time.
Yes, or commenting too much. And I'm like,
yes,
this is social media, people. Why can't I not? Let me be social.
Which I don't understand. So one of the things, and I don't know if Group Track does this, everybody's got to have an email address when they sign up for social media.
Yeah.
So does this allow you to pull the email addresses so you can email them? Or is there something like that?
So I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is that Group Track allows me to, from my Facebook personal profile, pull in my 5,000 friends and I don't think it allows to pull in followers. It's only friends that are connected with me. They all go bulk. Like literally, I push a button, everybody lands into the CRM in a certain pipeline and stage. Their email is not pulled in. I don't think that there's a system that does that. What it can do though is this is how I get the emails is when and this is a strategy I teach as a list growth strategy, because my free Facebook group grows my list by hundreds of people every single month. Most of the time I've not had any conversation with them. They have found me other ways in other strategies that I teach. But when you come to join my free Facebook group, you get 3 membership entry questions to ask. And the way I write mine, people want to give me their email address. Okay. And so they pop their email address in there, and then I go in and I opt them in for the freebie that they said they wanted. And that's how they get on my list. And when I approve them into the group through Group Track, that email is pulled in onto the CRM.
Okay.
So it is automatically pulled in because they put it there. And also the answers to the membership entry questions are pulled into the CRM contact card, which is really cool because I'm asking questions like, what kind of business do you have and what's a big goal you have in the next 3 to 6 months? And that's great market research for me where I can pull that and be like, okay, I've got an overwhelming number of people that are wanting to launch a course, or they're feeling invisible and they don't know how to do social media, or they're, whatever the problem is. And that's really good market research information. So the cool thing is that when they join my group, which is why it's called Group Track, it's really used more to track people in your group. But they are adding on LinkedIn and school, which is really exciting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't used school yet. Have you?
So what frustrates me about School, Mighty Networks, Circle, Heartbeat, Kajabi communities, all of these platforms that where you can make a community. Did I say Circle? I think I did. Where you can make a community on another platform, is that it is yet another platform that somebody has to go to. And what I have found, my opinion, might be an unpopular opinion. If I'm going to have a community, it is going to be on Facebook. So I have a free Facebook group. My students that go through my 8-week group coaching program, they are in a private student-only group, not in a different community. My alums of the program that are in the alumni mastermind, they are in their own group. because everybody's on Facebook. Now, whether they like Facebook or not right now, that, some people always have an opinion about something.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it's the number one platform for a reason. Yeah. And it's one of the first things people do when they wake up in the morning. They pick up their phone and they check Facebook.
Yep. Sometimes before they go to bed too.
Exactly. So whereas if you said to me, I'm so excited you're going to join my membership, we're over on school, I'd be like, first of all, how do you spell that? Second of all, where is it? I've got to get another app on my phone. I've got to find it on my laptop. I will forget it's even there.
That I agree with you 110% there. And I think that's a problem. Too many people are on as many social media platforms as they can be on, and you get lost. You get lost in the shuffle. Just like with Facebook. All right. How many different Facebook groups do you belong to? Do you know?
Oh gosh. No, I've lost track. What I do know is I have about 3 to 5 that are my groups that I'm truly visible and active in.
Right.
The other ones I have turned I haven't left the group, but I've turned notifications off.
Yes.
Kind of forgotten about the group. So I might as well leave it by now. But so I'm probably in 20 to 25 groups, but I really only pay attention to and do visibility strategies in like 3 to 5.
That's one of the things and we talked about this not too long ago on an episode we did a roundtable on marketing, and we were talking about Facebook groups, and this young lady was building Facebook groups for all her clients. And of course, then everybody invites. And it's like, holy cow, how many Facebook groups do I belong to now?
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I'm looking, it's like, okay, well, why do I want to follow this particular type of Facebook group, which does not have anything to do with what I do?
Right.
And so forth. So I finally got smart and narrowed it down to where, even though I'm still members of those groups, I follow the ones that would help me more. And there's a new one I got to join, which I will be joining after we're done this, and that's yours.
Good. Yay.
I will be. I mean, because I watched on Alex's podcast, The Made Simple, about growing your list.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to your podcast, and you have a lot to offer.
Well, thank you.
To other entrepreneurs. And I think that's very important. It's you, and not only that, I mean, come on, you're part of a mastermind group.
I'm pretty smart.
I mean, it just blows me away how many entrepreneurs or business owners don't even know what that is.
I know. And I don't know how people build these businesses by themselves. I really don't.
I know.
It is just such a freaking roller coaster. And there's so many decisions to be made. I mean, if I say it once, I say it 100 times to my clients and students. They'll say, should I do this or that? And I'm like, it depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Because you're going to have an argument for everything. You're going to have somebody like me that's saying, exhaust all the free organic strategies you can before you pay for ads. You're going to have somebody that's a big paid ads person going, no. Don't waste your time with organic. It's too slow. Go do paid. I mean, like, it is so, there's so much noise and there's so many opinions, and people don't know who to trust and who's got the right answer.
Right.
But what they need to do is trust themselves.
Yeah.
They just need somebody like me to say, okay, Rich, that idea and that idea sound amazing. Which one feels better to you? And have you go, okay, Tracy, I think I want to do A. Okay, cool. Let's build A. Let's put it out there. Let's market it the right way, because you can market almost anything. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been in sales long enough that if you put the right messaging on it, people are going to buy it. But you've got to make that decision. And that's so hard, because it's like, oh, what if I make the wrong decision? Okay, if you make the wrong decision, then you turn around and you make a different decision.
Right.
You know, but yeah, the online space is just, it's crazy pants. There's so much.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. I've got to tell you about something that's seriously impressive. My good friend Chris recently tried M-Sculpt Neo at Living Well Healthcare in Elkton, and the results, absolutely incredible. I'm talking visible muscle tone and fat reduction, all without stepping foot into a gym. M-Sculpt Neo is a non-invasive body contouring treatment that builds muscle and burns fat at the same time. It uses advanced technology to give you the equivalent of 20,000 crunches or squats in one session. You heard me right, 20,000. Living Well Healthcare in Elkton isn't just another wellness center. It's run by Dr. William Clifford, who's been helping people feel and move better for decades. If you're tired of working out without seeing results or just want a kickstart to your fitness goals, this is the move. Check them out at livingwellhealthcareelkton.com. Again, that's livingwellhealthcareelkton.com. And tell them Rich and Chris sent you. How many, well, I know you can't give me a number, but do you believe that a lot of entrepreneurs and even businesses are missing the boat by not building up their email list?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes.
Why do you think they're not doing it? I don't get that.
I don't think they understand the power of it and the purpose of it. So I delivered I was one of the keynote speakers at the Arcast podcast festival last November, and speaking to a room of podcasters. And my topic was list growth.
Yeah.
And I told them when I started, I said, look, I'm sure you saw my name and this topic on the agenda for today, and you thought, well, that's going to be a really interesting talk. That's the sexiest topic I'll hear all day. But what I told him was, I said, by the time I get done with this, you're going to know how sexy email list growth is and why you need it. And so I think they just don't understand the power of it, because they think, I'm going to build in the online space. So I'm going to go over on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram, and I'm going to use Pinterest, and I'm going to use YouTube, and I'm going to reach my people there. And that's great. We need to do that. But if we if we rely on only that, we are building on rented land. And 2 years, I think it was 2 years ago, Facebook and Instagram shut down for 36 hours.
Yes, I remember that.
I'm in the metal.
People were going ballistic, especially the ones that, which I don't understand is, the ones that use Facebook as their company website.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So I'm a member of the Meta Leaders Network. And when the lights came back on and we were all back on Facebook, I went into that group, and it was so sad. There were thousands of business owners that lost a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did not have an email list. The ones that made money, one of my mentors sent 2 emails during that 36 hours. I don't think she even knew, because she doesn't handle the social media part. I think her team does, but I don't even think she knew it had shut down. And she sent 2 emails and she made $14,000. And that I made that point to the room of podcasters. I said, which one would you rather be? Would you rather be somebody whose business is in the dark, literally, and you can't reach your people? Or would you rather be the person that could not care less about it because they know who their people are, they've held them close, they've built relationships with them, and they can send an email and make $14,000? I mean, the email list, you know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but the listeners might need a refresher. It's one of the biggest assets we have as a business owner.
Yes. Because
not only can we pull people offline onto our list and have an opportunity to actually land in their inbox, which I like to call their living room. If I feel like if somebody lands in my inbox, it's like they're standing in my living room, right? Everybody has an email address, even my 82-year-old mom, and she knows how to use it. So unlike social media, where a small percentage of your people are actually going to see what you're doing, even though it feels like you're naked on an interstate when you post something on Facebook, you're really not, right? I mean, literally, it feels like when you post something on social media that you're standing on the interstate with a big sign that says, look at me, look at me, look at me, right? We're not. A very small percentage of people see what we do. But in that inbox, I can email you and I can go, hey, Rich, happy Wednesday. I hope your week's gone well. This is what I'm talking about live tomorrow. I really hope you'll join me. By the way, how are you doing? Reply back. And you reply back. And then we have this dialogue. Like that whole situation with my Facebook jail thing. One of the blessings of it was I got to have conversations with people I hadn't talked to in a while, because a lot of them are not really on Facebook all that much.
Right.
And so they weren't seeing my DMs. and they weren't seeing my content, but it opened up that conversation where I could move them through my funnel even further.
Yeah.
So I could talk all day about the importance of list growth.
Well, actually, do you use your email list for, and I don't know if you send one out or not, but for a newsletter as well?
So what's funny is people, when I think of a newsletter, I think of the church newsletter, like the paper newsletter you get at church that has all the blocks on it about the different things going on at the church. And so I know some people write their emails in a newsletter format.
Right.
I just email my people because one of the things that I do, and you know this because you've listened to my show, I am all about building a business with ease and simplicity. And I do not want to put together a 5-point newsletter every week. What I want to do is I want to go live every week as my regular piece of weekly content and repurpose the heck out of that, including having it be the audio for my podcast. But the email to the list is going to be about that live.
Yeah.
I send it to you on Tuesday. Hey, Rich, this is what I'm going to talk about on Thursday, live at 11:30. I hope you'll join me. This is what you're going to learn. Bing, bing, bing. Kind of tease the content. And then the power in that email comes in the PS and the PPS, where in the PS, I can promote something.
Right.
Or I can give you something else to go connect with me deeper. Like, hey, did you know that one of my best podcast episodes was about being in Facebook jail? Reply back and let me know if you want it and I'll send it to you, and that gets people replying back to you, which makes the email delivery gods happy and more likely to deliver your emails to the right place. So if you can get people to start to reply to you in a fun way, not only does it open up the conversation again and you are brought back top of mind, but the email gods are happy and those people are more likely, your list is more likely to get your emails.
Yes. And when it comes to your podcast, I found this out yesterday. I had somebody reach out to me and told me that they subscribe to the podcast, but she said that the links aren't working in the email.
Oh no.
I was like, what? So now granted, of course I subscribe to my own podcast too, which every podcaster should.
Right.
But I never click on the links to check it. And sure enough, I checked and it wasn't working.
Oh,
so I had to contact the source and within 24 hours, they were able to get it working. But here's something a lot of podcasters may not understand. When you build that list up and you put out a new episode, your subscribers get that automatically. That's a download.
Nice.
And a lot of podcasters don't realize that. That's nice. A majority of your downloads are going to come from your list. Unless they subscribe on Apple, because when that'll download it automatically as well.
Right.
But the other one I do is for my other website, but that's a newsletter that goes out once a week. But it's important because, and this has helped my business, because my sponsors love the fact that at least my top level sponsors love the fact that they are mentioned in every newsletter. Yes.
That is something that I mentioned to the room of podcasters, because I was talking to podcasters that are like me, that use a podcast as a top of funnel strategy to sell my group coaching and my one-to-one services. But I was also talking to podcasters who hadn't monetized it yet and weren't sure what they wanted to do with it yet. They had a show. Yeah. And what I was trying to impress upon them was, okay, if 6 months from now you decide you're going to be smart like Rich Bennett and get sponsors, and I'm a potential sponsor, and you said to me, I've got an audience on social that's around probably 30,000 total across all platforms, but I have an email list of 4,000 people with an open rate of 40%. That is what I'm hanging my hat on as a sponsor.
Yes.
Because here's an example I gave. This might blow your mind. Speaking of vanity numbers, as a sponsor, it does not impress me to know what your following is on social. Right. And here's why. I had a one-to-one client who hired me last summer. She has an Instagram account. Then she developed a YouTube channel. She had 500,000 followers on Instagram when we met. We worked together. Now, I cannot take credit for growing her Instagram channel because I don't do that. That's not what I do.
Right.
By the time our time together ended, she had 800,000 followers on Instagram. She had created a YouTube channel. She had 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. Do you know how much money she was making? $0.
I'm not surprised.
$0, because most of those people were voyeurs. They were not her people. And so when somebody says to me, oh, I've got an Instagram following of 100,000, my question is,
how much you making?
How much you making? And are those people your people? It's kind of like when somebody says, this also irritates me. I could get on a soapbox about this too, Rick. When I see somebody go, oh, I had my first launch and it was $100,000. Do you know what my next question is? Let me see your profit and loss. What was your expenses on that? Because if I have a $50,000 launch, okay, I'm trying to do math here and this is dangerous. If I have $50,000 launch and my expenses are $20,000, I've netted 30. You have a $100,000 launch. You spent $70,000 for that. You net 30. On the face of it, it looks like you are more successful than me, when in reality, we are even.
Right.
And that really gets my goat in the online space, because there's so much marketing and not telling the truth.
One of the things that I always laugh at, and I've been doing my podcast for 10 years now, and I'm sure you've seen it, where you get the emails from these marketing experts that will guarantee you so much.
Oh, yeah.
But none of them know what ROI is.
Exactly.
It's like, wait a minute. Here you are in business. You don't even know what ROI stands for.
Right.
And,
yeah,
I love messing with those ones now.
They irritate the fool out of me. The people who, okay, and I'll just mention this and then I'll stop talking because I feel like I'm talking too much. People who also irritate me, while we're talking about the people that irritate Tracy Beavers, here's another one. On LinkedIn, when I post something and some random dude comments, and then the next thing I know, he's trying to connect with me. And I'm like, no, don't. The other day I replied back and said, please don't comment on my posts anymore. I was just like, I don't want you to try to get my attention. I don't want to know that you followed me. I don't want to see you comment on my stuff. I'm not going to hire you to do SEO on my YouTube channel. You know, I mean, it's like, stop with that. You know what I mean?
I do. I have to admit, I do connect with people after I've had them on my show, because I learn from them.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And I want to keep learning.
Yeah, but you're not a stranger at that point.
Well, God, I hope not. I may be strange, but I'm not a stranger. No, I'm not. Oh God.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense to connect.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about Podmatch, because to me, it's a giant networking platform. Mm-hmm. And how many different people besides Alex have you talked to that you met through Podmatch and you were able to learn something from?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. And as a matter of fact, because I had to laugh, I had to, I forget who I had on, but we were talking about mentors. Mm-hmm. And I said, but can you have a mentor and the person not even know they're your mentor? Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, absolutely.
Yeah.
But maybe you should tell them.
Yeah.
So I had to message Alex, because I learned a lot from Alex just watching him and a couple other people in the podcast world.
Yeah.
And then business wise, of course, I've learned a lot. So I had to message Alex, which I still haven't gotten on my show yet. I got to one of these days. I might wait till the 750th episode. I don't know. Who knows? Anyways, all right. So I'm going off topic here. So I want you to tell everybody, because I'm looking at the time too, all the services that you offer to help them build their business and how they can get in touch with you.
Well, thank you for asking. I would love it, since they're listening to this podcast and they obviously love good shows, for them to come listen to mine. It's called Create Online Business Success.
Great podcast.
Thank you. We launched that last summer and it quickly rose up to top 5% according to Listen Notes. And I was just astounded, because you never know if what you're going to put out into the world is going to be worth a darn. But it's been a lot of fun. And so on that podcast, though, because I'm a list growth strategist, I will put something in the audio that's a call to action that leads to my list, and also in the show notes. So that's a great place to find me and get on my list. Another great place to connect with me if they love Facebook groups and they are an online entrepreneur that wants to be able to promote their offers anytime, not in a spammy way, but in an authentic way, and connect with other people that are doing the same thing they are. The Facebook group is called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. Get visible, grow your email list and your income. Come join us. Just answer the membership entry question so we know you're not a bot and we know you're a legit online entrepreneur.
Or an online freak or something. Yeah, I mean.
Whatever the case, just tell us who you are. We take all comers. We don't judge. And then in terms of my services, my favorite program right now is my 8-week group coaching program. It's called Business Visibility Made Easy. And as a list growth coach, I'm often asked how my list growth strategies differ from everybody else's that are out there. And my best answer is the other list building courses teach you how to identify your ideal client and create a free lead magnet and put it out on social. And both of those things are foundational and important. I have 10 other strategies I teach you, and I teach you how to do everything else you can do to grow your list. Things like dialing in your Facebook personal profile as a list growth funnel. If you look at mine really closely, you'll see what I mean. Your Facebook business page, being in other people's groups, even the ones that don't allow promotion, and allowing that to grow your list, being on a podcast and being an effective guest. Anyway, so it's so fun. And we launch that 3 times a year. So I think at the time of this episode airs, we'll be in summer. So we'll be launching again in the fall. And then I do offer elite one-to-one coaching for those people that want to make a bigger investment in their business, and they really want a coach like me I like to say, I put on my scuba gear and I do a deep dive into your business. I
love that.
I'm going into the business and I'm like looking at everything, turning stuff over. I'm listing things. I'm road mapping things. I'm keeping you on track, keeping you accountable. You've got Voxer access to me. So that's really, that's more of a deep dive, but a lot of people prefer, just to have somebody that works just with them.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad you mentioned that too. And I've seen this a lot, but you, in the beginning, you mentioned you're 55, which I find hard to believe. I was going to say maybe 35.
Well, thank you very much. I'll tell my family.
And I've seen marketing companies do this, which just blows me away. That'll say that you don't want to hire somebody our age because we don't know how social media works.
Yeah.
What do you tell those people?
I can understand that. How can I say this?
It was the baby boomers that invented the internet. I've
been on it longer than they have. Okay, let me say this.
Like that.
Let me say this. Do I know? Am I great at doing reels and being on TikTok? No. Do I want to be? No. Do I want to teach that? Heck no. But I know how to grow a business using Facebook. But yeah, I have on the days when I talk crap to myself, I'm like, one of those thoughts that enters my mind is like, what are you going to do when you're 60? Are these young people still going to hire you? Are you still going to be relevant? But yeah, no, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Yeah. And the thing is with social media, it is tricky. Now, I use it for like my one business or website, I should say, because it's a good news website.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I promote the good news on that.
Yeah.
The podcast, I'll put a video up every once. Does does social media really get me listeners? No.
Yeah.
I found there's the 2 things that work best to get me listeners is the email list.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
And actually advertising on other podcasts because people are already listening on that podcast.
Yep.
And that's where you're going to get listeners. However, with the other one, it's completely different. I get a lot of my sponsors and everything are going to come from social media.
Yeah.
And from the groups.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I am, and this is something I've always told my kids, I don't care what field you get into, the education never stops.
No, it's true.
And if you get into groups like yours, you're going to learn more. And that's what, and I think if people that you're trying to do business with, if they see that, they know that you're serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you.
I mean, it makes sense. Why stop?
Yeah.
You know? So my last question for you.
Okay.
What advice would you give someone who's juggling a full-time job?
Yeah.
But dreams of running their own business?
Yeah. I am actually asked this question a lot, and I love it because first of all, sometimes I can be an all or nothing person.
Mm-hmm.
And so at first, when I was thinking, okay, I think I want to try coaching, I had an all or nothing mentality about it. I either have the corporate job or I don't. I either do the coaching or I don't. It didn't dawn on me for a little bit that I could do both at the same time and use that step down approach that I used to not stress myself out about the money, but be able to have time and space to build it up. So don't have an all or nothing mentality about it. Try building your business alongside your corporate career. It takes a lot of intention. It takes a lot of planning and boundaries. None of those things are fun, but it's the truth. I had to look at my week every week and put in all the known things, the kids' PTA meetings, the kids' ball games, the church stuff or the whatever stuff we're doing for family, doctor's appointments, whatever, the known appointments, work, 8 to 5. And then I had to look and see and be honest, when are your pockets of time, Tracy? And it might be Monday night for 2 hours, Saturday morning for 2 hours, Sunday afternoon for 2 hours. And that's only about 6 to 8 hours a week. But I that's all I could do. So I had to be really realistic about what can I do, and then share that with my family and say, that way they knew I was not going to be working 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
And they could say, okay, well, we want to have movie night. Great. Let's have it on Tuesday night. I'm not working Tuesday night, or I want to go do XYZ. Okay, cool. Let's do it on Wednesday night. Thursday night I got to work, or I could flip flop it. I would say, okay, I'll change my hours to Wednesday night and then we'll go do that thing on Thursday night.
Yeah.
But you have to you have to plan for it. You have to be organized with your time. You also have to understand, what do you have to have, minimum viable stuff to get this thing launched out into the world. And it's not as much as you think.
Right.
So that's my best advice.
I think people need to understand that you need to work smarter and not harder.
Yes. And
don't forget about family.
Right.
Don't forget about yourself, because you don't want to stress yourself out. And health.
Yeah.
Health plays an important part of that. Actually, I lied. I'm going to have one more question for you.
Oh, no. Okay. Here we go.
But before I get to the last question, is there anything you would like to add?
I can't think of anything. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, I want to open the door for you. I would love to get you back on because I love to do roundtable discussions on things.
Uh-huh.
And we got a couple coming up. Some we're doing in person, but I know we'll be doing some virtually. Okay. I definitely want to do one on a mastermind group.
That'd be fun.
And some other ones. So my last question for you then, and you more or less just talked about it, but what is during the work week, your daily routine like? From the minute you wake up to when you go to bed?
Yeah, great. And I love a routine. I do love it.
It's important.
So Mondays and Fridays, I do my very best to not have any public facing appointments. Therefore, I do not have to wear makeup or fix my hair or wear pants if I don't want to. And I have time to go, I know, or matching. That was kind of gross. Anyway, I derailed the entire episode right into the ditch with that one comment.
It's a jail thing,
It's a jail thing. Yeah, it's back from when I was wearing the orange jumpsuit and the flip-flop.
Oh, God.
So anyway, Mondays and Fridays are for me to either run errands or get content done, whatever. Mm-hmm. Every morning, I have things that I call my morning routine, where I am checking my DMs. I am clearing out emails. I'm responding to things that I can respond to in 5 minutes or less. I am maybe applying for a podcast. There's some, and I'm going into my Facebook groups that I love, and I'm being of service and being visible there. Right. And then I do not see I see clients on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and some Thursday afternoons, but not before 11 or 11:30, and not after 3:30 or 4.
Okay.
And then so I know that that block, like Tuesday afternoon's usually a blur of podcast interviews, clients, networking, things like that are public facing. But then, that's pretty much it. I mean, I have that set of things that I do every morning, and then I have a set of things I do every afternoon. That way I'm not in the DMs all day. I'm not in my inbox all day. It's, it's very set. That way I'm not ping-ponging all over the place, because I was ping-ponging in the beginning, and I was starting to just really burn out.
Makes everything run a lot smoother too, doesn't it?
Oh, and I also try to exercise every morning, take the dog for a walk. On most mornings when I can, when it's not raining or something like that, that's also something I do. That's one of the reasons why I don't really see anybody before 11 or 11:30, because I want time to get my morning routine done, my coffee. But I'm up working 6:30, 7 a.m. every day.
Wow. At what time do you normally stop?
Usually, my husband gets home around 5, and then he's ready to have a cocktail around 5:30. So I really need to wrap it up. And I call my mom every day at 5. So I really need to wrap it up by 5. And then but sometimes I'll work till 6 if I need to.
Maybe I need to start doing that, having a cocktail.
You mean calling your mom?
No, well, if my mom answers the phone, that's going to be scary because we'll be seeing her St. Patrick's Day. We always go to the cemetery.
Oh, gosh.
It's a tradition because my father passed away on 2 days before St. Patrick's Day, which is his favorite holiday.
Oh, fun.
So, and I've never seen this before. I'll never forget it. At the viewing, we were tailgating.
Of course.
So anybody that came there, me and my older brother were out there. They had to either drink a beer or do a shot for my father.
Love it.
Then they would go in.
Yeah.
And people at the funeral home they weren't going to say anything. The cops were in there. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
But now it's tradition. We go to the cemetery every St. Patrick's Day. We're probably the only people at the cemetery with a cooler full of beer.
I love it.
And we sit at the gravesite. We'll have a drink for Dad. My sister will bring coffee for my mom.
Oh, that's great.
And then we head then we head to the one bar and then go out for dinner afterwards.
Yeah.
Can you tell we're Irish?
That's amazing. I love it. I think that sounds like fun.
Oh, it's a blast, and the kids love it.
Yeah.
And of course everybody wears green. I'm going to actually dye my beard green this year.
That'll be great.
As long as it comes out. Well, I got enough time because I messed up for 4th of July one year. We were at a party and there was a lady there that does hair. I said, "Hey, you got something you can dye my beard red, white, and blue?" She goes, "Sure." She did it. And I said, "Okay." After she's done, I was like, "Okay, well, now I can go home and wash it out." She goes, "No, it's permanent." I'm like, "What?" And I play Santa professionally. It took a while before it was like, I think November it finally came out. Oh, I was scared.
Yeah.
I was scared.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Tracy, I want to thank you so much. It's been a blast. Those of you listening, make sure that you listen to her podcast, Create Online Business Success, and subscribe to it, of course, and go to her website as well, TracyBeavers.com. And it's Tracy without an E, Tracy.
Correct.
I know some Tracy spell it with an E or IE.
There's all kinds of fancy ways to spell it. I got the boring version, Tracy. I did.
That's not boring at all.
Boring. I always wanted an EE or an IE or an EY or whatever. Nope.
I get upset because growing up, everybody called me Richie.
Yeah.
But my parents always spelled it RICHY. I get upset because even my godmother and some other people will spell it either IE or TCHIE. I'm like, no. So that's why I dropped the Y part. It's just Rich now.
Yeah.
Tracy, thanks so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going.
Hey, Harford County, I'm Emily Adolph of The Soul Lift. You may remember me as a guest on Rich's podcast. Well, I'm back with something special.
And I'm Ona Crow. We're introducing Nourish and Connect, a gathering space designed to bring people together that feels authentic, supportive, and uplifting.
This is about real relationships, shared wisdom, and growth.
Our gatherings nourish with mindful experiences and reflective activities to leave you inspired.
And they're designed to connect with intentional conversations and welcoming community where you truly belong.
They're the second Wednesday of every month. Join us on April 9th at Doss Beer Hall in Bel Air from 5:30 to 7 p.m. to celebrate spring.
And mark your calendars for May 14th and June 11th. We have amazing experiences planned for summer.
Come as you are, and let's grow together.